And in the Impact segment tonight, an anti-Muslim backlash in Oregon. On Sunday outside the Rizwan Mosque in Portland, demonstrators showed up.
You're a pawn of Satan.
Muhammad is
God.
Allah
Hates
is
your
God.
religion.
You are
God
faithful.
hates Muslims.
I feel sorry for
Allah is not the
sure
God
these
of the
people
Bible.
will pray for you.
With us now, Zafar, spokesman for the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community. This is your mosque, right?
This is correct, yes.
Were you there when these people showed up?
I wasn't there when they showed up, no.
Okay.
But
did you know? Did anybody know they were going to show up?
No, it was completely by surprise when we showed up and we saw them screaming.
Do you know who they are, these people?
No, we don't know who they are, nor do we know who that lady is who just was a bystander and she started debating with them because what they were doing was wrong.
But there weren't many of them, right?
No, it's a very small group. And, and this is what the lesson is for us, is that what we know is there are great people everywhere, but there's also ignorant people everywhere. And so for that reason, that's what we're saying is people need to understand, it's time to understand what true Islam is really all about, so people don't have these type of fears and misconceptions of what Muslims are and what Islam's all about. So we invite people to come, pick up a Quran, study it or read it, and talk to us and ask us any questions.
And that's a good way to handle it. But you have to understand, and I'm sure you do, that in this world, there are so many radical Muslims, so many, that it becomes difficult for unsophisticated thinkers to separate the good from the bad. It's almost like Germany during the Nazi regime. Not all Germans were Nazis.
Clearly, right.
But we had to kill them all and bomb the hell out of their cities to break that movement. Now, you don't have to do that with Muslims all over the world because it's not a central problem. However, I got to tell you, there's a lot of people that are getting a little fed up with this, and I think they're getting fed up because they don't see a mobilization of the good Muslims. Yes, you make statements. Your group is one of the best to do that. Harris, over the years, has been a very, very solid American and very outspoken against this. But we don't see the Million Muslim March in Washington, I wish we would, to condemn ISIS and these. You need that.
Right, and you're right, there are way too many. And we can't just rest into the reality of that they're greatly outnumbered by the good Muslims. But what we can say instead is, first of all, recognize the work that is being done by the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, by others who widely condemn ISIS, but then also engage in debates with them, meaning all the Stop the Crisis events we have going on across the country, including what's happening in Chicago tomorrow, is all about undermining the very theology that they claim to be representing, that they use for recruitment.
But you need a better PR arm because, as I said, most people don't know what's happening in Chicago tomorrow. I don't know what is happening in Chicago tomorrow.
So we're the founders of the Stop the Crisis event. We chose crisis because the word ISIS is in there. And we've done campus events all around the country, here, Canada, UK, Germany, all about undermining the very
So you're
theology.
criticizing the jihad at these events?
Absolutely. And then we're not only because we're decent human beings, but also from an Islamic perspective, because they're violating
saying they're wrong
of,
theologically.
Right. And so they can...
What about Sharia law? That Sharia law disturbs me.
Okay.
Are you a proponent of Sharia law?
If you're talking about, the governments of Iran, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Sudan, I'm staunchly against them. But if you're talking about Sharia as defined by Islam and the Prophet Muhammad, I'm for that because that's just about an individual. What's your path to living as a Muslim? It's a self-governance.
Okay, but you got to understand that most people don't understand the subtleties.
Right. Which is why I wanted to give a nuanced answer.
Is basically an oppression carried out by a central authority that if you steal, you get your hand cut off. That if you're an adulteress, you get stoned to death.
And that's what we speak out against, yes.
Okay. So you're not a proponent of that?
No, absolutely not, because that violates the teachings of Islam. The Quran doesn't mention stoning at all. Only the Bible does, not the Quran.
But you know as well as I do, and I'm going to get tons of letters on this, you take the Quran or the Old Testament, you can take stuff out of there, cherry pick stuff out of there all day long that makes you look like violent crazy.
Sure.
And then you have the infidels and this and that.
Right.
But I would tell you and every other Muslim leader, you need a Million Muslim March in Washington with national coverage to speak out against ISIS so the whole world can see it. That's what you need.
And that's why, so when the leader of the largest international body of Muslims in the world, His Holiness the Khalifa of Islam, calls us to do just that, to speak out.
Well, tell the leader to do it, and do it fast.
And so when we tell people, come to MuslimsForPeace.org, get a free e-copy of the Quran, you find those verses, talk to us. If you don't want to, read the verses before and after, and we'll talk to you.
Get the march going on. That's what is needed. And we appreciate you coming on in.
Hey, thanks so much.
Directly ahead, Bernie Goldberg on some of the dumbest things said in the wake of the Paris terror attack. That is it legal on whether Charlie Sheen could possibly face